Welcome to the Ross Patterson Revolution!
Holy shit. I mean, holy fucking shit.
What?
Jables, do you know who's on the show today?
I cannot even believe it.
Duran Duran.
Her name is
Real and she dances in the sun. I mean, what the fuck?
Dude, we talked about it, but I don't think I realized
here's what happened
gravity.
is we told the audience that we were going to the show.
Yeah.
You know, I said, hey, we're going to the show. Amped to see Duran Duran. It's going to be fucking rad.
Yeah.
I didn't know at the time because I'd put in an interview request. I didn't know if it was going to be granted or not.
Yeah.
Sure enough, boom. I get this email and they were like, yeah, the co-founder would love to talk to you. John Taylor. I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck? This on so many levels was so huge for me. One, huge Duran Duran fan.
Yes.
Two, John Taylor was like the pimpiest dude in the fucking world to me. Like,
totally.
Holy shit. He was my guy. He was my dude. Where it was just like, that's a fucking sexual icon right there. And I was nervous. I was nervous about it. I was genuinely
Which you
nervous.
Never are.
Never.
So it was like,
and I've met everyone at this point. I've met everyone.
Right.
And I was genuinely nervous to me. I've met the fucking president, for Christ's sake, multiple times.
Yeah.
But John Taylor from Duran Duran, I was nervous about that. I spent so much of my my childhood around MTV, and Duran Duran killed it for years and years and years.
Was it your MTV or?
Well, it wasn't my MTV.
Whose was it?
I don't know, but I will say this: Duran Duran owned it. I mean, they had that shit on lock.
Dude, we'll get into it, but they...
Yes, I may have even lost my virginity to Ordinary World. I don't know. I don't know.
Is that why you've been listening to it all over the house?
Maybe.
Like that?
Maybe.
Is that what you're thinking about?
Maybe it is. No, I don't.
Nobody
maybe
thinks about that.
I don't know if it was Ordinary World. I'm going to be honest.
You don't sit around fantasizing about you losing your virginity. It was like the worst.
Well, maybe for you. When you pay people off the internet, that's what's going to happen to you, Jables. So,
fuck you, dude.
I had a
fuck you, okay?
experience. I wasn't in the back of a 7-Eleven.
Fuck you, dude.
Yeah, with $80. That wasn't me.
Bro.
But look, this was a big deal for me, and I really did feel like genuinely kind of nervous. Where I was like, oh shit, is this Duran Duran? Like, this is a big deal for me, because I think everybody individually has their own people that meant something to them in their childhood growing up. That mean different things for different people.
Mm-hmm.
Duran Duran, baseball player Ricky Henderson. Hi, this is Ricky Henny. Ricky was my end all be all athletes. Dion Primetime Sanders, Brian Adams.
Sorry, I thought we were naming.
Were you Brian Adams? Girl?
Everybody at my age was at one point a fan of that song from Robin Hood.
Yeah, but here's the shocking thing about Duran Duran, because we got to interview him before the show started. Then we stayed for the show. You got to take some pictures down in the press pit.
Yeah, that felt cool.
Yeah, that was cool. It was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And here was the shocking thing to me is the show was incredible.
Right.
Where I was like, oh fuck, we were at a rock show. They gave the people what they wanted. And it was a fucking party from beginning to end. And that absolutely shocked my mind. I was like, oh, fuck. And they still look great, where you're like, holy shit. They look way better than me.
Duran Duran is one of those bands, like a lot of bands from that era, that you kind of take for granted because you're just like, oh, they're just good. And like, they were always good.
Yes.
Wonder what they're doing now. I bet they're fucking whatever. And they killed it.
Yeah,
and you're like,
and
it's not that I forgot about you, but I just was like, when you're that good for that long, in that time period, it's sort of like
you forget about their greatness.
Yeah,
it's kind of like
always great. And I don't know if they're great, but it's
kind of like when Kobe
killed
Bryant played. Kobe only got one MVP. He should have gotten multiple, but every year he was great, and I think people took it for granted. That's the same way with Duran Duran for me, where it was just like, oh shit, they've been great for like 20 years.
Exactly.
And once they start playing, you know every fucking song they've ever done, and you're like, oh shit.
It sounds exactly the same as like back in the day.
Their voice sounds the same.
Shit.
I mean, they have not missed a beat, which is incredible.
Yeah.
Simon Le Bon, his voice was amazing. Like their playing was amazing.
Yeah.
They had a backup band. They had fucking beach balls at the end that were
What did I
tossed out
say
into
to you
the
when
crowd.
we were watching them? I was like, they're like cooler than I will ever be. Do you know what I mean? It was just this like air about them. They're just fucking cool. They dress cool. They kill it.
Yeah.
They're professionals. They were like pros. It was watching someone that's like been doing what they're doing for as long as they have, but in a professional manner. Like talking to him, you'll hear the interview, but it's a business. They love it. They're doing it great.
Yes.
They're not fucking with it. They've been doing it great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Doing it
And
right.
look, but before we completely fan out here, which we're definitely doing, we got some sponsors who pay for this whole thing to be on the air. First up, we got straightrazors.com. Whew, best in the biz. They're my Rolling Stones. They're my Rolling Stones of sponsors. I told you I was out of aftershave, and then I ordered 2 bottles of aftershave, and they're like, dude, you don't have to do that. I was like, no, I want to. Like, if you guys leave the world, then I'm fucked, and I can't get the best aftershave on the planet.
That's the problem with finding stuff that you like.
That you genuinely like. You're like, please don't leave. Please,
yes.
and the same thing with local businesses.
Make it.
I support them too.
Yeah.
Go to straightrazors.com. For all your shaving needs. They've got everything across the planet. Their straight razors will give you the smoothest shave you've ever had. Their cologne is amazing. Their aftershave, #1 in the world. I mean, they've got a kit that makes you look like a fucking pro. When it's laid out on the counter, it's like, holy shit, they spent some money on that, and it really is one of the finest companies that I've ever been around.
Have you used the Taint Splash?
I haven't used the Taint Splash, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward
Just
to
a
it.
real close.
I want a real close taint shave, and I want to throw a splash of heat up there.
Hot? You want it to be like
habanero.
spicy?
Yeah, a little splash of hob underneath the old taint.
Love you, Straight Razor.
Go to straightrazors.com, type in the promo code REVOLUTION, you get 20% off. Again, go to straightrazors.com, type in the promo code REVOLUTION, you get 20% off. Please do so. They keep the show afloat. Next up, we got StrikeForceEnergy.com. Yeah. Boy, if you were thirsty like the wolf, you would definitely go to StrikeForceEnergy.com. And get yourself some energy needs. It's better than 5-hour energy. Kick the can, kids. You don't need the can anymore. You got this tasty, tiny little tin pouch that squeezes out into every liquid available. I'm talking waters, liquors, beers, Kool-Aids, you name it. It kicks the dick out of anything energy-wise you'll ever have. Go to StrikeForceEnergy.com. Type in the promo code REVOLUTION. You get 20% off. Big fan of StrikeForceEnergy.com. They ship everywhere in the entire world, and they get a subscription of the month. Type in the promo code REVOLUTION, 20% off. Last but not least, we got At Night She Cries While He Rides His Steed, the first ever romance novel for dudes. Oh, boy, that's a great horse noise.
I don't know.
Super great horse noise. Look, kids, the greatest writer of all time wrote it, Ross Patterson. Is he the finest literary genius of this or any generation? You bet he is. Give him a little pat on the shoulder if you see him out in public. Holla if you hear me. Hail Mary. Go to Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, all the .coms, even Walmart.com. Pick up a copy of At Night She Cries While He Rides His Steed. It'll be the funniest thing you've ever read in your entire life. Or go to Audible.com. It's on there as well. We did all the voices and a bunch of actors. It's 5 stars on Audible, 5 stars on Amazon. You can't fake that shit. Speaking of things you can't fake, the greatness of Duran Duran.
Shit.
Boy, oh boy.
Unexpected. I don't know. Is that weird? Is that bad to say that I was?
It's not.
that I was just like, I was expecting them to be good. Like,
Yes.
they're obviously not fucking,
Well,
they're not washed up. They're not anything.
Let's really
but...
get into it. Let's really fucking
Okay.
get into it, okay? Because they were here. There's a little thing in Wilmington, North Carolina every year called Azalea Fest. Azaleas. And
God.
every year they have a huge, like 2 or 3 huge bands play.
Yeah.
Last year was Snoop Dogg.
Mm-hmm.
If you would have asked me before last year,
Sure.
hey man, what show are you more amped about going to, Snoop Dogg or Duran Duran? I probably would have said Snoop Dogg at the time. Because
and it was weird that Snoop Dogg was coming to town. It was kind of like, all right, well, it's North Carolina, let's do this. Like, so it was novelty / we wanted to see him.
I did. I
Yeah.
did want to see Snoop Dogg. I've seen him before.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see.
Everybody's seen him before.
Well, you think, but you don't know. But he came and he sang with backup tracks the whole time, and a lot of like. Now your turn to sing. Where you're just like, yo, it is not my fucking turn to sing.
It is
okay?
for sure.
I paid for a ticket for you to sing.
Right.
I don't want to sing. That's like going to a restaurant and you making me cook my own food. That's like making me go to Papa Murphy's, buying a frozen pizza and then going home and cooking it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not delivery. It's fucking DiGiorno is what you just gave me. Like,
yeah, nothing like coming home after a long day of work
and then cooking your own
fucking pizza.
And that's the way I feel about backup tracks. And like with the Snoop show, it was so fucking discombobulated all over the place. He only played for about an hour. And again, he used a backup track the whole time. So it was like, dude.
It was like karaoke.
It was like, karaokeing to his own CDs.
Yeah.
And look, I love Snoop Dogg. It just wasn't a very good show.
Yeah. Fair.
But then Duran Duran comes in. I didn't have a lot of expectations. I was like,
knew,
all right,
again,
cool.
we knew it was going to be good. It's like an 80s
We
party.
knew- we
like,
knew-
you
yes.
know it's going to be good.
You know it's going to be good, but you didn't know it was going to be great.
Exactly.
So Duran Duran comes into town, and they played a whole like they were in a fucking arena tour,
Yep.
and it was incredible. It was like they were fucking U2. I was like,
They
Jesus
delivered.
Christ.
They didn't Radiohead me
No,
at all.
They played
every single song you want to hear.
They played all the hits. They played sweet ass covers of like Bowie.
Totally. Like they gave those fucking ladies, those old gals.
Yeah.
Those old gals in the audience, they gave them a fucking 80s night from top to bottom, like they
80s and 90s, because look, Duran was killing.
True.
But
and 2000s, really.
They made them titties jangle out there, is what they did for the ladies. And and it was an impressive show for not only Azalea Fest, but like I would say, like, look, I go to a shit ton of concerts.
Yeah,
I've been to probably more than your average bear in this life.
thing.
It's my thing.
It's your thing. I just want to say,
and me saying that was a great show.
Yeah,
that's
huge.
a lot. That's a
huge.
lot. That never happens.
I just want to say, I'm not sure if they're listening. If they are, that's amazing. But
Sure.
I'm not saying that all your fans are old ladies. I'm saying everybody in Azalea Fest.
And Azalea Fest.
I'm not talking about you guys.
Yeah.
I'm
We're
talking
not
about
talking
us.
about Duran Duran.
Let's be like they could go anywhere.
Yeah,
and
let's be real.
Yeah.
All the bands held up, and they look fucking amazing.
Yeah.
For their age, we're not going to say what age that is, but they
I'm not going to say when Simon walked by me, I wasn't like, holy shit.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sorry.
John Taylor was like, "What the fuck,
for
bro?"
Sure.
I even you'll hear it in the interview. I would told him like, "Yo, bro." Like, Jesus.
We were watching a video of, was it Ordinary World? And I was like, dude, he looks the fucking
I know.
same.
They all look kind of the
so
same.
Crazy.
They all look kind of the same. They went out of their way for wardrobe changes, that type of shit. And it was just like, they had a full backup. They had a black church choir that was behind them, it seemed like and backup dancers,
just like cool backup dancers.
Yeah.
There's like totally choreographed, the whole thing top
and
to bottom.
they gave you the show that you wanted going in, and it was just like you couldn't ask for anything more. Where it was like Snoop Dogg, I left disappointed, and I was like, really, motherfuckers. But Duran Duran, who's been together for 40 years, just kicked your ass on that stage, like holy shit. So it was incredible from top to bottom, and I God bless those guys. And you'll hear it when he talks, when John Taylor talks, like they're still passionate about the music. And look, without further ado, here's the interview. Forgive the concert noise you hear in the background. They were gracious enough to invite me on the tour bus because it was super loud. There was an opening band playing. And so, if you hear any background songs in the background, obviously there was a band playing. But here's my interview with the co-founder of Duran Duran, John Taylor. Welcome to Wilmington, North Carolina.
Yeah, we love it.
Do you really? Have you been here before?
No, but we're all like, wow, this is Cape Fear.
One of Robert De Niro's finest. The weather's a lot colder today than it should be.
It could be worse.
It could be. This is like British weather.
Warm everyone up. Yeah, we'll get moving.
I'll cozy in next to you.
Yeah.
Is this the first time you've been this close to another man on a tour bus like this?
I don't know whether it's the first time. First time in recent times.
Yeah.
You get used to being close to men when you're on a tour like this.
You don't have to tell me. I've been close to a lot of men. I mean, a lot. How many years is this, by the way?
What, the tour?
No, overall, it's Duran Duran.
Oh, we're coming up on, it's like 38 years.
38 years, that's crazy. I mean, you're getting towards Stones territory.
Well, yeah, but we can never catch them up. That's the thing.
You never know. If you live to 95, you can beat them.
But then there'll be like 135. So.
It's true, because Keith is never going to die. Okay, now be honest with me. When the Rio Olympics happened, were you pissed that they didn't open up with Rio?
Oh, no, I didn't even think.
Her name is Rio and she dances in the sand.
That wasn't something I was thinking a lot about.
And you guys have had a lot of hit songs. Obviously, Hungry Like the Wolf is one of the biggest ones. Was there ever an option for another animal, like a bear?
We did Union of the Snake.
You know, I've done something with a snake, too. It's super illegal, even for the South, which is weird. Any sort of symbolism with these animals?
There's a lot of symbolism, yeah. You're kind of like, this is Jim Morrison territory. It's about animal spirits.
Well, we've all gone through an animal phase.
Yeah, I think Simon was quite into that, actually.
We had a show about the Doors and Jim Morrison. Were you into the Doors at all?
I wasn't.
Jables fucking hates them.
Simon was. No, I mean, I like them. They're probably not in my top 10, but I can have my Doors moments.
I get down with L.A. Woman. Driving down your freeway. Okay, who's in your top 2?
Beatles got to be number 1, really.
Everybody says Beatles. They're okay.
And gosh,
Stones are mine. Stones are mine.
2.
Bowie's great.
Prince 3.
Same. There we go. Now we're catching up.
I don't know where I want to go from there, though.
I'm also a big fan of Falco, who did Rock Me Amadeus.
It's getting complicated. The Clash, maybe.
Oh, the Clash are great. The Clash are great.
Yeah. Joni Mitchell.
Joni Mitchell never lied. Would you consider yourself the best bass player of all time? No. Who's number 1?
No way. Who's number 1? Well, I think James Jamerson is probably the most the most influential electric bass player ever. And Paul McCartney, who was a big fan of his. Bernard Edwards was my guy. He was the bass player with Chic, and I still don't think anybody plays like him.
And you guys toured with him, right?
But not with Bernard's been gone a long time.
Right.
I mean, Bernard produced the Power Station, so I did get to work with him, and he produced A View to a Kill. But yeah, I mean, when you hear what he plays on those Chic hits, it's like it defies physics. Where he finds places to play, where he finds beats to put his notes is. I mean, I can't even.
By the way, since you brought up "View to a Kill," it's still the greatest Bond song of all time.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Appreciate you saying that.
I've got Adele as a close 2 under that, but I still got you guys at 1.
All right, I'm a fan of Diamonds Are Forever myself, and Goldfinger, of course.
Okay. Oh, of course. Is it true you did date a Bond girl?
Well, she was in a Bond film, yeah. I mean, I don't know whether I would call her a Bond girl. Bond girls typically are the female leads.
They called her a Bond girl online. God damn it, I'm using too much Wikipedia.
Yeah, no.
You've dated a lot of interesting people. I saw Jodie Watley on there.
In my 20s, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, look, let's face it, though. You've held up. How do you stay in shape?
Well, I like what I do. I take it seriously. You got to feel good about yourself if you're going to be in a band. I think I don't think it's rocket science. We all know, what makes the difference between a a healthy lifestyle and an unhealthy one. I made a lot of healthy choices in the last 20 years.
You see, I haven't. I've always gotten way too close to the edge with a Wendy's triple stack here.
Stick with me, kid. I'll teach you the tricks.
Yeah, you're fishing a little bit.
Yeah, well, he's doing it. And something else interesting, I thought. You guys played with Stevie Wonder earlier.
Yeah, that was a bit of a I don't want to dream come true. No, it was definitely it was something to memorialize. You know, it was you know, he's one of the giants, isn't he? And we'd never. I mean, I can't remember a time when he hasn't been making music, you know. So.
He's at every award show there is. Like, I still see him play every award show.
Yeah, I know, but you know, you never quite know what you're going to get with him. I've seen him good, and I've seen him great, and I've seen him not so great. But you know, he was really on that night, and he showed, you know, what legends are all about. And you know, and you've got to constantly be looking up and sideways at artists. I mean, I'm always interested in. Of artists that are, you know, quite a bit older than me, and how are they hanging in there? You know, how are they keeping the fire going? You know, how are they maintaining their enthusiasm?
Now, I heard a rumor that Stevie Wonder really isn't blind and that he can see shapes. Can you confirm or deny this?
Yeah, let's hope not.
Yeah, that would be real messed up, Stevie. Moving on, speaking of artists still doing it, that new Stones album, I really loved, by the way. And I was surprised. I mean, even though it's covers, I was like, it was a pretty good album. Like, I was really surprised.
Yeah, I didn't hear it, but you know, it did seem to. I saw them last autumn, and they seemed really, really into it. You know, they were a lot better. I think I'd seen them about 88. I think was the last time I'd seen them, and they were better this time. So that's always good. That's always good to see and acknowledge that it's like you say. It's not a downhill. It's not downhill. You know, it doesn't have to be downhill.
No, it doesn't. Not at all.
They're clearly, you know, the music has brought them together, and you know, this project where they got to, you know, work on songs that were important to them. It took them back to the core of their enthusiasm and their passion for what they do, and it you know, and it galvanized them, and they sounded and looked great.
Yeah, they sounded amazing. If you could go back to 1 year in your life, what would it be?
Well, we've been thinking about 1978 a lot recently, because we kind of got this like 40-year anniversary rollover celebration, which is going to start next year, and it's going to go for about 3 years.
Make it 20. It's your world.
And like, you know, because like the genesis of the band was 1978. Then it went through some changes. Simon joined in the summer of 1980. So, you know, the band was kind of created over this sort of 2-year period. And 78 was a really interesting time, 78, 79. I mean, really that post-punk era, there was so much energy in music in Britain at that point. And it was also, that was like the first year that I realized this was my thing. That, like, forget, you know, working in a department store or working in a, you know, an ad agency, or, you know, working at a service station. I was going into music, and you know, and really like focusing on that, and that you know, really figuring out how to create and make music. That was an exciting time.
What year do you think you were at your absolute best?
Oh, right now, man.
That's great.
Absolutely.
That's great to hear. I always ask that of people, and if they don't say right now, no. If they don't say right now, then they don't love what they do, and they don't think they can get better.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's, you know, people are always asking about the difference between touring now and touring back then. I mean, look, when you haven't been to America before, there's nothing like going to America for the first time, trust me. You know, going to places for the first time, there's nothing like that. And when we toured at the beginning of the 80s and we first started coming here, and also going to places like Japan and Australia, it was insane. And the kind of following that we had at that time, I mean, it was amazing. But we're really, you know, we're really into what we're doing, and I don't know. You have to dig deep. You know, if you're going to be around a while, you've got to dig deep. You know.
On the new album, did you feel like that? Like, hey, we really dug deep and we achieved it.
Yeah, I think we did actually. I think the new album was an achievement. You know, I mean, it's never easy. You know, you're trying to make something that is as vital as your best work. You know, is as is as interesting as whatever's happening in the music scene currently. You know, it's got to tick a lot of boxes. You know, it's like I would say it's like putting out a new model BMW or something. You know, it's got to do everything the old ones did, but it's got to do something new as well. And it's not easy. But you know, we love to do what we do. I mean, I don't think any of us can believe that we're still doing it. You know, and that it's become something that was like, you know, it was just mad when it started out. It's become a privilege, you know, and we're just very blessed. I hate the word blessed, but
I know, hashtag blessed. You can hashtag it. You can hashtag blessed.
No, but it is, you know, but as I say, we take it seriously, you know, so we love it.
Okay. Last question. When I came here, my wife was amped, but she was like, look, he's not the only famous one in the family. She was talking about your wife. She created Juicy Couture, right? That's pretty incredible, right?
Yeah, she is incredible, and and I got to take that ride with her, which was really good fun, and be a part of her extraordinary achievement.
The rock star of the fashion world, like that for a while. That was a heavy run.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time, and thanks for being on Ross Patterson Revolution. Have a great show tonight.
Thanks.
Thank you.
If I try to make my way
through the ordinary world,
I will learn to survive. Okay, Jables, scale of 1 to 10. Was he unhappy with me when I asked him if Stevie Wonder could see shapes?
I'm unhappy with you. And you know that. And you looked at me and you gave me a look and you did it anyway.
Well, you know this has been an ongoing thing on my show and then our sister show, Drinking Bros, where, in fact, they're two of aforementioned. We have talked about Stevie Wonder. There's been a long-standing rumor, and you can look this up on Google yourself. There's been a long-standing rumor that Stevie Wonder isn't really fully blind, that he can see shapes.
How long have I been saying that,
You've been
though,
saying it
as
for a long
person?
Time. You've been saying it for a long time. There's videos on YouTube that have Stevie Wonder making questionable, I would say, glances at things where you're like, all right, how does Stevie know that's going on right there? The one, though, that did get me was the Golden Globes this past year.
Checking out some butts and stuff?
No. They put Stevie at a table, and I don't know if you know this, but they, you know, it's a round table, and the stage is right in front of you. Somebody, whoever sat Stevie, didn't turn his chair towards the stage, and he's just looking at a wall the entire night.
Stop it.
Dead serious. And there's a picture of that online as well. So you were not stoked when I asked that question.
No.
Okay. Well, that happens. That's gonna happen with me. I'm a real person with real feelings and real emotions.
Yes, and I feel a real way about you.
I know.
You know what I
do.
mean? And like, and you
do.
you wouldn't have given me the little glance first if you didn't know what the fuck you were doing.
Well, look, it's a question I really want to know,
No,
and it would have been nice if people open up and be like, "Hey, man, Stevie," because it's not like a lot of people think. Once we stop recording, maybe there's other things that go on afterwards. There really isn't. So it's not like I got oh, hey, by the way, the Stevie Wonder thing. Yeah, he can totally fucking see. I didn't get that. I didn't get that. No. But he was across the board an awesome guy. And that question about when, you know, if you could go back to being your best, when was that? And it was just like, it's a trick question. It was. Because it's
not a trick question.
No. It's not a trick. It's not a trick question.
Yeah.
But that is the God's honest truth. What I said in that interview, where I was just like, you know, if you don't think that you're at your best at your craft today, not your best self, because let's face it, Father Time takes you in some mysterious places.
And also, we don't talk stupid like that.
No,
we don't say our.
But
best
about your
selves
craft.
and shit. Yeah.
But about your craft, and to hear him say that was incredible. You know what? And there is something that people didn't see actually backstage that's I would like to share with the audience, because it was, to me, it was awesome to see. So we did this interview. We took a picture together afterwards that was super blurry that you did. that we can post later. And really, really great picture of the two of us.
Listen.
We both look like Swayze and
You guys,
Ghost.
if anybody out there
I get
does
one
photography,
chance.
but I get
one
literally
chance.
1 second. So I'm going from like inside of the tour bus.
I think the nerves got the best of you.
To outside, and he goes, "Can I take a picture?" He was so busy. He's right about to go on stage, so you literally have half a second.
Yep, and the picture's blurry.
Yeah.
So I get one picture with Duran Duran, and it looks like we're both Patrick Swayze and Ghost. Like we're just both images. We're both holograms. We're both hologram Yodas from Star Wars is what we are. No, but in all sincerity, so after this shitty picture that you took, that I can never get back, which is gonna haunt me forever, because I wanted to give it to my son and all that stuff, but whatever.
I'm like trying to be mad, but
Yeah.
that's funny.
So after our interview, he gets off the bus and then he goes into, there was like a huge tent. There was some women who were standing in line who were blind. Some of them, they appeared to be cancer patients. And it was a longer line, and one by one, we watched them go into this tent, and the entire band took pictures with them. And they were smiling, joking around, having a blast. Simon even like took off his jacket and put it on somebody. And it was like an amazing thing to see. And you're like, holy shit, they've got to go on stage in like 10 minutes at this point.
Yeah.
So they took it was a huge line of people taking pictures with them. They were unbelievably gracious with their time and amazing. They took all these pictures, and then they went to rehearse, and I heard them rehearsing right before they went on stage. And here's, to me, yet another amazing moment about them is they've been playing essentially for 40 years together in this band. Once they came out after rehearsing and they were, announced on stage, two of them were skipping to the stage.
Yeah.
Skipping.
That was really awesome.
Really
see.
awesome. And that we have footage of. I think you were rolling some B-roll of it, and we'll post it online. But they were skipping, and we were the only ones back there, so it wasn't like they were doing it for us. They were just doing it because they were excited to play. And they skipped out like they were a band excited to play in front of anyone. And that's what I miss.
Or no one, really.
Yeah.
It seems like they could just they'll be excited.
Yeah.
Way. That's how they seem about it.
And after that long a time, the fact that you're still excited to play night in and night out is unbelievable to me.
Yeah.
Because again, we had just come off a show the year before with like Snoop Dogg. It was super lethargic. I mean, it was high as shit, but like
late, high, over it. Like it was just kind of like, all right, like we know we're not like the biggest
city in the world, but dude, they yeah. I mean,
don't agree to do it then.
They put on a show, so like, during this interview, all the, everything that he said was true.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not striving to be your best or trying to like,
it's true.
It really was true.
Applies to a lot of things. Yeah.
Yeah. And I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit.
Even the fact that him doing the interview, I have to say, like, we've both done, I don't know if you did a lot of plays, but I've done, live performance where it's like thinking about doing an interview with somebody, I don't even know who they are, like before going on stage though, like that's huge for him to even do that and then go practice and take pictures and then go up on stage. So that's someone that's like, I don't know, I'm gonna stop.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it totally is.
It was impressive to me.
I in all the movies and shit that I've done, like, doing an interview before sometimes they would slot interviews at lunch.
Yeah.
And things like that. And then you go back, to the thing and you're like, man, I'm tired. I don't have my best.
Yeah.
I don't really want to do an interview right now.
You want to focus on what you're doing.
Yeah,
really.
And their tour manager, Orla and Karen hooked this up, and they were like, look,
they were super nice,
super nice, cool. Super gracious, and they were just like, look, you'll get maybe 15 to 20 minutes with the bands, and it'll be awesome. Mm-hmm. And they were like, just be courteous about their time, and I was like, absolutely,
yeah.
I mean, literally in the interview, you can hear the opening band playing, and that's how tight it was towards when they were going on stage. And you're like, holy shit. Then they came out and crushed the show and put everything to shame, and you're like, God damn. I mean, I left an even bigger fan than I was when I was a child. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
I think because I know more about the entertainment business now, where as a kid you don't. You know, you watch shows.
It's all just magic.
Yeah, you go to concerts and things, and like, you know, even as a child, I recognize a good show from a bad show. And sometimes I knew why, sometimes I didn't. You don't know what people are going through or whatever.
Yeah.
And this was a great show where I was just like, holy shit, man. I know I've said it a bunch of times in the show, but because I can't believe it.
Yeah.
It's hard to fathom getting that excited to play a show after all this time. It just is. It would be like playing, you know, the same character in fucking Death of a Salesman for 40 years, where you're like,
yeah,
how do you make it interesting every night and get excited to do it? Because you know they know all those songs. I mean, obviously, look, they have a new album out, and they were recording that. They only played, if I'm not mistaken, a couple new songs. They knew what the crowd wanted.
But they fit right in. Whatever those, the new songs they did play, they fit right in. So it wasn't like a jarring, like, we're going to play our new stuff. Yeah. It was like, all right, we still, you know. Just made sense.
You know, the interesting thing that I have a takeaway from, and I've always wondered this, is why a band that great, or any band for that great, like Pearl Jam or the Stones or whoever, why they couldn't come out with like a gigantic hit now? You rarely see it. And I remember as a kid, you know, young kid, like I remember the Grateful Dead came out and they had arguably their biggest hit of their career. Remember that song Touch of Grey? Yeah. Touch of Grey.
Yeah.
And by the way, when I say biggest hit for the fans at home, I'm talking about commercial wise. I mean, they've got a million songs that are better than Touch of Grey.
Right.
But for whatever reason, Touch of Grey was on MTV, and it was just like, here's the Grateful Dead, super old as shit, Jerry Garcia. And then they've got this video where they're all skeletons. And like, I remember as a child, and you're like, oh, fuck. How did you get a hit that late? It's kind of like when Arnold or Jack Nicklaus won the Masters at like 46 years old.
Right.
You're just like, oh shit, or 48 or whatever it was. Like, you're like, oh shit, how did he summon that one more time? Why? I don't understand. Like, because, you know, Duran Duran had some awesome songs on that new album. Like, why can't they break through? Why can't another older band break through now and come out with a gigantic hit? It seems strange to me.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of different factors, obviously, that things have to converge as far as demographic that make things a commercial hit being your biggest fans.
I guess.
So is it the people that have been listening to them forever as everyone grows?
But you take the Chainsmokers right now.
Yeah, but what's their demographic?
No, not that. You take the Chainsmokers and that new song with Chris Martin from Coldplay.
Yeah.
He's a great singer. They just took a great singer from a band, had a hit song. Why couldn't the Chainsmokers take Simon Le Bon
fucking should
and just plug him into that song? Same voice, same thing. Like, he could have killed the same exact song and been the same shit. And then, to me, it would have been even cooler if it was like, oh, shit. Dude, it's the Chainsmokers and Duran Duran. Like, fuck yeah, let's hear this song. Like,
right.
That would have been rad. Like, Chainsmokers and Chris Martin, it's like, oh, cool, yeah, of course they did, like, whatever. You know, much in the same way that Daft Punk dipped back, you know, and got Nigel. Like, that, I think it could be done, whether or not you want to work with them or not. Like, the last one I can remember that is, I guess, close. Within the last 10 years would be Jack White and Loretta Lynn.
Yeah.
They had a hit song called Portland, Oregon, and that song was fucking dope as shit. Yeah. And Loretta Lynn was like 70 at the time. So I don't know why you can't, you know, whether it's airplay, whether it's, you know, the labels. Like, if they have a great song, can you get that in? Is the question. And I know I had talked about the Rolling Stones in that last interview, and I didn't even know they had a new album until Kristen Stewart was trending on Twitter, and I was like, wait, why is Kristen Stewart trending on Twitter? Oh, because she did the Rolling Stones video, and that made everybody watch it and then listen to the album, and I was like, oh shit, that's what happened to me,
right?
So it's a strange thing. It's a strange thing because I don't.
No, you're right. They would need a collab to kind of come back into the
ability
forefront.
To write songs and make a hit. I don't know if that leaves you. Like, I watched that Tom Petty doc that was 9 hours long that you always make fun of me for. But like Tom Petty is one of those guys who kept having hits like 30, 40 years later where you're just like, Jesus Christ.
Some would argue because it's just not complicated rock.
Yeah. You know what else?
It's real easy.
Yeah, I guess. But you know what else?
Not extraordinary.
Also made me, I not cherish, but really, really enjoy the Duran Duran concert even more was I had just seen the Oasis documentary a couple days before. And the fucking lead singer was such a fucking asshole. Such an asshole all the way through.
And just tanked it. Drove it into the...
But even before they got famous, he was a dick. And you're like, man. And they came from like a shitty upbringing where like the dad used to beat the mom. And it was like he was a dick before and then an even bigger dick afterwards. And you were like, and he was just driving everything into the ground, this guy.
Yeah.
And still does to this day. And then just shitting on his brother. And like one of the quotes from the documentary, and I think it was by their tour manager, was the best thing I'd ever heard because it's two brothers, Liam and Noel, and
I'm familiar with Oasis.
Yeah, and Oasis. And the best quote was by the tour manager, who was just like, "Look, one brother had all the buttons, the other brother had all the fingers,
right?
And that's all he wanted to do was press the buttons." And it was just like, and it's still going on today.
How uncomfortable.
Wait, I'll take this even further. So when they were in the height of their public feud, they were scheduled to play the Hollywood Bowl, and I had tickets. So I went to go see Oasis at the Hollywood Bowl in like, I don't know, fucking 2001 or whatever it was. Like, like right after like Wonderwall and Supernova and all that other fucking shit. Like, and they were kind of getting, I think they'd maybe put out a new album. They were about to start promoting it or whatever it was. They were in a massive public feud. The two of them came out together on stage, drank fucking Rolling Rock. They played for 1 hour on the dot. And then Homeboy, the lead singer, who's always been the asshole, just takes this bottle of Rolling Rock, smashes it on the stage, and walks off. And that was it. And they played for 1 hour, 60 minutes even. It was almost like he had a stopwatch off stage.
Right.
And I was like, and
That's all I gotta do.
They played their hits, but it was literally he could have been anywhere, and he was super monotone, like almost like the concert. It's almost like he'd asked the concert promoter, "Hey, how long do I have to play?" 1 hour. Okay, you have 1 hour. Great, and I can just sing whatever I want for an hour, and it was just like
aggressive bullshit.
Right, and so he was just like this. So I said lately, you're gonna be the one that saves me, and it's my wonder. It was monotone, shitty, no energy. He didn't move 1 square inch from behind the microphone, where you were just like, Jesus, man. I mean, it was awful. And those guys had only been doing it at that point together for like 6 or 7 years. You've Duran Duran has been doing it for 40. And
that's another thing.
You can't get your shit together, Oasis.
Right. That's what's impressive about them too, only because you know how hard it is with bands and egos and fucking bullshit and whatever. Like the fact that the guy from Oasis could look into the audience at the Hollywood Bowl and not want them to like cheer and be happy, like that alone is
I know, it's
insane
it's
to
crazy.
me. I can't
and
even.
it's one of the greatest venues on the planet. And you're
imagine.
like, all right, cool. And look, for as much shit as Kanye gets about going off at rants and all that shit at the concerts, I've seen Kanye a few times. When he goes off on rants and he's angry about shit on stage, it's usually about tech shit, lighting, sound, whatever. But he's passionate about his performance and the fans, and he wants everybody to have a good time.
Hasn't he walked off stage and canceled shit and been a fucking D though?
Later, when he lost his mind, but he had a mental breakdown at that point, when it was just like, oh, all right, cool, that guy had a mental fucking breakdown.
Me too.
Right. But he had a fucking mental break. I mean, he literally went to a psych ward that last one. So it was like, all right, we'll give that one a pass. The other ones were just dicks, where you were just like, what the fuck is wrong with him? And then you watch this documentary and you're like, just two dickheads.
Yep, just a couple of dickheads that had some hits.
Yeah.
And the difference is,
then you have Duran Duran, who was so massively worldwide famous for so long, and they're come out and they still crush it.
Yeah.
Still crush it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
there's something to be, that's what I'm saying. There's something to be said for that only because you know how hard it is.
yes.
With everything.
And to that point, like, because I don't want to make it seem like I'm fucking kissing their ass or anything like that. Like, I appreciate anybody who puts their heart and soul into something and literally gives it their best. And is still great at it. And I think that's a big key that I want to point on, that is still great at it.
Yeah.
Because take Bob Dylan.
Sure.
And I hate that I'm going to shit on Bob Dylan, but like Bob Dylan's voice is shot. The last time I saw Bob Dylan play, like it was like, oh my God. The last 2 times I saw him twice.
And he used to have the voice of an angel.
Yes.
So
Well, hey. But the last 2 times it was like, hey man, this is not good. Like you, and it's not his fault. It wasn't like he wasn't trying, because he was.
all right.
He's just old as shit, and it just, dude, his voice is gone now.
This one's hard for me. So if his voice is shot, so he should what? Just hang it up?
Yes. And I know that sounds
I don't
terrible,
know.
but
there's still so many people. I would see him.
James, we've had this conversation.
I would see him.
We've had this
I
conversation.
know.
Do you leave at your top and don't let anybody see you? And literally, by the way,
Yeah,
I'm glad you brought that up, because it just happened this weekend. Journey just got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Okay.
And Steve Perry came. And Steve Perry hates the band, has not, whatever. But he showed up.
Was believed to be dead for a very long time.
A very long time. They got a guy in China off the internet,
right,
who fucking...
It wasn't China, but it was something like that.
Asia, wherever
Sure.
in Asia.
Sure.
What it's all the fucking same. So they got a guy in from Asia who sounds identical to him, who's been doing him in karaoke for years,
Right.
to replace him. And he, still showed up and did it, but he didn't sing. And they always sing. Whenever you get inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, if you're alive and you can perform, you play, and there's a concert, and they go in and you do it. And he didn't sing. And I don't know if it was his hatred for the band, or the fact that maybe he doesn't have it anymore. I mean, look, his nickname is The Voice.
Right.
A lot of people have said he's got the greatest voice in rock and roll history.
I mean, it's pretty fucking amazing.
Yes. So, is it his hatred for the band, or is he saying, fuck, maybe my voice isn't as good as it was? And if that's the case, Jables, that means he walked away, knew when it was time, and he goes, no. I only want people to remember me for my greatness, because he never had a bad performance.
And
never had a bad performance, Steve Perry.
That's huge.
So,
and especially with rock stars too, because you'll always remember that last performance you saw him. That was you had just missed a step. You're right. You're right. You're right.
Kind of like when John Taylor was talking about Stevie, where it was like, I've seen Stevie. It's good.
Great,
not so
and
great.
I've seen
and that's true. And so
he's
when
an older
to walk
gentleman
away.
as well. Yeah.
I know, but when to walk away is a big thing, where it's just like, I don't know. And like Duran Duran, they're still great. They shouldn't walk away.
With them, it's hard. The comparison to Kobe is hard only because I think music, well, maybe not. But I mean, music means so much. It's like maybe they take it, you got to take it on as like, there's people out there that want to see you still, and it means so much to them.
Well,
so do you start to be like, all right, am I going to be selfish and go out on top? Or am I going to be like that person that's never seen fucking Stevie Wonder or whatever and wants to see me? Do you know what I mean?
I don't know. That
and I guess Kobe could say the same thing, right?
That
like there's kids that look up to me, they want to see me, blah, blah, blah. It's like,
that's the eternal question, because Kobe walked away and it is not coming back.
And that's why you can't actually answer that. Is it better to burn out than to fade away? Because you can't. What's the right answer?
I don't know.
Selfish, not selfish? I don't know.
I don't know, but you take Johnny Carson for me in comedy, like 2 guys who did walk away. Right. Johnny Carson was one of them who said, because he believed there was an old school movie star thought of, once you're not at your best and you're not a movie star or what you once were, you fucking walk away and you never get seen again in public.
Yes.
Johnny Carson was one of them. David Letterman. Letterman left, came back recently because he's got a book out. To do an appearance. Did you see what Letterman looks like now?
The Unabomber?
Yeah. With the huge gray Santa beard. Like, I don't I don't know why would you come back looking like now? That's my last thought of Letterman. It's this crazy fucking old man who just it looked like he was sleeping in a cave.
Crazy old man that he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah,
old
but
man. He
but
doesn't give a fuck now.
Shave up. Like if you're gonna go hot, because I haven't seen him since he left his show.
He's been
until
shaving,
now.
and you can agree with this. He's been shaving you shave every day for the show.
Yes,
every single day.
And you don't want to shave anymore. But
you don't want to ever shave again, dude.
No, dude. You come back, if you're going to come back and do press, shave up, look great, go back into hiding. Okay. You can always grow a fucking beard or a mustache back. I had a mustache for a while. Whenever I'm, writing in these hardcore writing sessions for the book, like I'll grow a mustache or some form of something weird, just for the simple fact that I don't want to shave half my face,
Got you.
But when it comes time to take meetings and shit, I shave up, I look clean, I look great, and I try to get my shit back together.
Yeah.
But it's a weird thing in this life, and I don't know if we'll ever have the answers to that. Yes, I think so. I
bet everybody says they think so.
I really do. I really do. Where it's just like, all right, we're good now.
Okay.
And that's my guess. Duran Duran's not gonna have that problem though. They're not. They're gonna look good for
still pimpy, man.
For fucking ever.
Yep.
And now it's time for the revolutionary figure of the week. This week it's figures actually, and this one goes out to the immigrants from the Portuguese islands of Açores, Madeira, and Cabo Verde. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I hope I am.
Probably aren't.
Nah, my Spanish is tip top shape, Jables. This was the first records of the Carnival festivities in Brazil. You know what city?
I don't know.
Her name is Rio, and she dances in the sand. Was that song about Carnival? I think so.
Yep.
Never met the girl Rio, but if you're listening to the show, go ahead and type in. Send us a package. Let us know you're still alive. Send us a pic. Or maybe she faded away gracefully, Jabes. You never know. You never know what happened to Rio.
You never know.
But we do know this. She danced in the sand.
For sure she did.
Dances
like a little fucking bitch.
In the sand. Who talks like that, Jables? Who talks like
that? What? I don't know.
Look, kids, this was a blast. Childhood dream come true. Bucket list type shit. Thank you sincerely to John Taylor of Duran Duran for being on the show. This was amazing.
Yeah.
This was amazing.
This shit is so fun. This is cool, you guys.
Fucking dope, dude.
This is cool, and thank you for for listening, making this happen.
Absolutely. Cheers, everybody. We love you.
It's great.
Thank you for listening to the Ross Patterson Revolution. Go to RossPattersonRevolution.com for some sweet teas. Grab yourselves some tri-blends. Let everybody know you're part of the revolution. We love you, everybody. Good night.
Good night.